So, Mark, did you see that guy walking down the strip as the tweet says, dinner and a show?
Yeah, this is this is kind of crazy. Just stops while I mean, it's crazy that he's eating like off a plate while walking, period. But then he just stops and enjoys the view. And you don't have to go to Amsterdam to watch girls through windows, I guess.
What are the chances that this is a sketch?
I think this looks like the guy that ended up in the girl's room with his black feet and no clothes on.
So they paved paradise and they put up a parking lot, or they turned parking lot into an event center, and now it's going back to a parking lot. That's what's happening downtown. The downtown event center is, well, I just buried the lead there. Derek Stevens, he owns it, and now he wants to cash in on the cars.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need more parking downtown, so I can see the thinking for it. It's just sad that you're losing a space for live music and events like that, and it's been put to good use the last couple years, but I can also see why you would want to make some money on the parking all the time. It's like the opposite of Phil Ruffin, where he just keeps his vacant and runs a couple events every year through it, and he's like, you know what, I want money every day.
Yeah, I mean, money isn't a bad thing. Certainly, Derek Stevens has plenty of it and wants to make more. He's tried to bring a lot of events there. We think about the festival during F1 and just so many things that have happened there. The last performance will be pre-EDC stuff going on in May, and then it will indeed turn back into a parking lot. And as I said, it used to be one. I've obviously been there, but I haven't seen any big shows there. But a lot of people really love that venue.
Yeah, it kind of feels intimate, even though it's an outdoor spot. It's not too big. It doesn't get overwhelmed like you see in other places. So I could see why people would enjoy it there. Plus, you're right by Fremont Street for after hours or before. It does make a lot of sense as an event space.
Is this an admission that Fremont East, that the redevelopment of this area is not working?
I don't know. There's a lot of empty motels that kind of tell you that, isn't there?
Well, Tony Hsieh, rest in peace. His dream not always realized, but it's certainly better than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, a ton better. I love hanging out in the area. There's so much more good stuff there than there was 20 years ago. So maybe, it'll have ebbs and flows. It'll go down for a bit, and then maybe it'll come back. Somebody will get interested and buy up all those properties and start growing it again.
So let's do some birthday wishes, starting with Rio. It just turned 36 years old. It opened January 15th, 1990. And I love this picture that Dangerous Deb shared of the Rio on opening day. And you can see how the original Rio in its form, no masquerade expansions, no villas in the back. Interesting times.
It doesn't seem like it was 19. Doesn't feel like it should be longer or like it's been around forever.
It just because we were alive during that time. That's why it kind of hurts.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great property back in the day. We've talked about the Masquerade Village when it opened and the big show in the sky. But even in those early days, they had Rio Rita. I think they had beads all over the casino. There was always music and a great vibe. And, of course, the Carnival World Buffet.
Yeah, not to mention the biggest rooms in Vegas at the time, and probably still some of the biggest standard rooms.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing to mention. I believe Rio was the very first all-suite hotel in Las Vegas, and that's how it was marketed. So that was a big deal as well.
We've seen them revive those rooms a bit with the refresh, so it's good to see this historic property get the love it deserves, and we just need that Masquerade Village to get finished, right?
Yes, absolutely. And compared to Rio, Golden Gate is an old timer in Las Vegas. Rio is a baby compared to that. Golden Gate just turned 120 years old, January 13th, 1906. It's the oldest hotel in Las Vegas. A lot of controversy lately about removing the table games and stuff like that. But we also got a look, I think Mark Meltzer shared this, of their presidential suite. And this thing has a grill, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's an outdoor area. It looks like it's indoor, but it's an outdoor balcony area. So kind of unique, something you don't really see in Vegas. I don't know if you can easily go buy some meat to cook on it when you're staying there or what that all entails. Maybe the one guy that we talked about a couple of weeks ago that uses comps to get uncooked meat, you could do that somewhere and take it home and finish it off. But I want to know what those director's chairs were there for. What do you think those are all about?
I'm guessing they were doing a media event for the birthday and they invited them in. That was my guess as to why Meltzer had these pictures. And yeah, chime in the comments. What are some of the more unique things in a presidential suite? You see pianos.
Yeah, you're wrong about those chairs.
I'm wrong about why they were there?
Yeah, somebody's directing a film that is often done in hotel rooms in Vegas.
Okay, obvious. I'm sorry I missed that one. And while we are on the subject of presidential villas, let's move over to Caesar's Palace. They just redid a lot of their villas, and they released some pictures of that, saying, celebrating 60 years of grandeur with a bold expression of modern luxury, our new presidential villas, named for the high-profile guests who have graced these spaces. They offer over 8,000 square feet, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about that. I'm just all about this green carpet.
8,000 square feet is so insane for a room. It just blows my mind. It's 2 or 3 regular houses for people, sometimes maybe 5 in some areas. That's just crazy amount of space to give. It's beautiful. I love the domed area and the entryway, all the light coming in from that, and just the space that feels amazing.
Yeah, and one kind of takeaway here is a lot of times with these, especially in like a theme place like Caesar's, it's just very modern. This feels very modern. Now, some people might not like that. They might want something more Caesar themed related, but I dig it because a lot of these bigger suites were not getting this modern vibe. And yeah, this works for me on every level. Of course, we know I booked the mistake rate and they didn't put me in the villas. So my hopes of ever staying in this room are 0.
Yeah, unless somebody that is a whale invites us, that'd be cool.
Yes. Hopefully they have a tiger. I don't know.
That is the piano from The Hangover, right?
So Mark, nice shirt you got on there.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I got the hoodie too. mtmvegas.shop. We have our classic line. Hats available as well. Check it out. mtmvegas.shop. So Glasgow Productions tagged me on Twitter in this video, and it shows them removing the Mirage Arch. Now, I think if I remember right, they removed one of them from the driveways, years ago when the property shut down and saved it. And this one has just been sitting there. And then they just tore it. I mean, why wait till now to tear it down?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe just the way they're progressing through the rebuild or moving stuff, and it was just time. But I'm glad to hear that they saved the first one. Hopefully they repurpose it in some way, keep that history alive within the property. Similar to what we've seen Derek Stevens do down at Circa, bring in some historic pieces of Las Vegas and keep them in pristine condition within. I think it's a draw to people that love Mirage, would love to go see that. I hope they put it somewhere front facing that's easily accessible to anybody that wants to visit the property and still kind of reminisce about Mirage.
Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't have left it up, put Hard Rock on it. It's a beautiful piece of the property, but hopefully the other one comes back, or say we don't really know what happened to it. And if anybody has an answer as to why now, let us know. A lot of people have been sharing this on social media. I shared it last week as well, but I don't think we talked about it here. The gold glass is coming out very fast. And yeah, so the whole progress is happening. I'm starting to imagine what it's going to look like all blue.
Yeah, it's going to be magnificent at times, I think, with the sun hitting it and sunset and everything like that. And blue feels more modern than gold. I think people will miss the gold. We'll have to see what it all looks like when it's put in there, though.
And one other thing people have been mentioning, it seems to block the view of a certain tower from the south end of the strip.
Yeah, it's going to block a lot.
So moving over to Flamingo, last week I shared what the carpet looked like, that I love that entry carpet. Also checked out Carlos and Charlie's, and there's not much going on there. I stuck my camera in the window, and they are not, I don't know, they haven't removed anything. Some people were saying they were using it as a storage area for when they were replacing the carpet, so maybe it will be taken out after that. But I sort of, in looking at the space, I sort of realized that it probably should be taken out for slots. It really just sticks out into the casino, and it probably would be better not being a restaurant.
Yeah, it's still crazy to me that they kicked out a paying tenant that's been there forever with the money struggles that they have. And anybody that can pay a bill for that many years is somebody you want to hold on to. But if they can make more money from slot machines, they think, then I can see why they would do that. It did kind of not really fit with the rest of Flamingo, especially with what they're trying to do. But also, like you said, the location was a little bit weird. I just wonder what they're going to do with like that outdoor patio area. Is that going to be like a smoker hangout off of slots? Are they going to get rid of it? What are they going to do there, you think?
That area is so beautiful out there, the gardens and stuff. They should build a really nice bar out there. They already have the bar basically from Carlos and Charlie's, but again, they haven't announced much other than we know that it's going to turn into casino space. And I guess the rumor was that the lease didn't allow them to put another restaurant there. So I wonder if they can even do anything with that space at all. But it is a cool space. If you put a really nice, relaxing vibe out there, I think people would come.
How about we get rid of that crappy sports book and put it in there?
We got all kinds of ideas over here. Just hit us up. But let's follow up on the recent show. We talked about sports gambling and sharps and what the sports books are doing to ban the better players and take all the money in the world from the whales who don't do so well. And The Economist had a very interesting article called The Battle to Stop Clever People Betting. And it really goes into how the sports books are identifying players, how they're identifying what they do, how you open up, what's your first bet, what types of bets are you doing, what sort of wallet are you using to pay for, men versus women. They're doing all of this to sort of identify which customers are going to win and lose. And this was interesting. One gambling consultant told The Economist that by the time a customer places his first bet, sportsbooks are 80 to 90% certain they know the lifetime value of the account.
It's kind of wild. Like I could see it after you make a couple months worth of bets or maybe a couple weeks worth of bets, and they see your types of patterns, what you're going through just from one, unless they're getting info from other books or maybe your player's card in the casino or something like that. I just don't know how they could get all of that from one bet.
Algorithms, baby, algos, they're working in their favor. The article also says, and there was a great Twitter thread that broke all this down. I'll put a link to that as well. E-wallet users, women, and bets over 100 are flagged. Just basically every time you step out of what you're doing, a lot of the sharps are changing up their bets so they'll make bad bets to cover for the good bets. Of course, they try to find the whales who are already losing to make bets for them. It's fascinating, the give and take in this industry right now. And a great discussion a couple of shows ago you guys had in the comments, whether it's fair or not. A lot of you pointed out that, is it any different, a sportsbook cutting off a limit of a gambler compared to, cutting off a card counter at blackjack?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to that. And, at some point you say if the people can do it, then they should be able to do it. They're not breaking any laws or anything, but they also have the right to refuse any person to come into their business. So that's where you kind of see both sides of things. I find it interesting that they find whales to make bets for them, because we've seen them deny payouts based on them knowing that this person didn't make the bet or things like that. I wonder if they ever caught on, if they would use that as a way to fight it. But also, these sharps are trying to make a couple percent per year. They're not winning 80% of their games or anything like that. They're just trying to win a couple more than they lose. So even if they have this bets made with the whales, there's no guarantee that that's going to be a winner for them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy industry with crazy people, and I'd love to hear what everybody has to say. I go circles with what I think is right or wrong when it comes to this, but I do know that the biggest sports betting influencer out there just went viral again. Sean Perry, he was loading up his $1 million or something from Circa, and he pissed off Jeffrey Benson, and they went at it on Twitter, and it wasn't pretty.
Well, if what Jeffrey says is true, then he's a huge. Well, we kind of already know who he is, but if you're taking the money out just so you can film it, making them count it, and then giving it right back to them to pay off your account or add to your account, that's so ridiculous.
It is. I saw this. I wasn't even going to cover it for the show. Then people sent it. And then we had this other sports betting stuff. I mean, maybe people love this stuff. I think, you should tip really well if you're going to do that. If you're going to make them work extra so that you can make your social media content, tip them well.
Well, somebody said, oh, he tips $10,000 so he can do what he wants. And he goes, no, I didn't say that. I gave away $80,000. I don't even know what that's all about. Just walking around handing $10,000 stacks to people. It seems so fake.
As a reminder, you can advertise on this show. We are taking sponsorships, looking for local high-quality businesses to partner with. We have a great audience, and we'd love to work with you. Inquiries at milestomemories.com. You can find a link down in the description. Reach out, and let's make it happen. So the Atari Hotel is no more. I thought the Atari Hotel was officially canceled a couple of years ago when, it never materialized. I think back in 2020, right before COVID, they announced 8 properties that they wanted to build, including a flagship property in Las Vegas. Here's a story as old as time. They did not have land, and they weren't able to find any. And I guess they finally figured out Phoenix. That's the only one, and Vegas is officially canceled.
Yeah, we knew this was never really going to happen, but I always thought it was kind of a cool idea, something unique, something themed, what we've been asking for. So I was hopeful that it would happen. I think it would have been a cool novelty and something I would have been excited to check out, even if it had no shot, because there was no money, there was no land, there was no real plan. Who knows if they even do it in Arizona? I wouldn't think that would be any better off than Vegas.
Yeah, the concept art was cool, and I guess the idea may be cool, but it just seemed there wasn't anything real material to it. I mean, we talked about this with the theme park that guy wants to build here. It's like, if you don't have
the
the
CEO
land,
of Vegas, Sean, give him his proper due
the
respect.
CEO of Vegas. But if you don't have the land, it's really hard to build a project. So that's a good first step.
Yeah, and land is only getting more and more expensive in Las Vegas. So that's a big key to all of this. I mean, we have one sitting there waiting for an arena to be built. They dug a hole. There you go. Build it there.
So let's move on to talk about your favorite subject, influencers. And the Las Vegas Sun had a very interesting article about influencers in the LVCVA. The LVCVA, as we've talked about, they paid millions of dollars to influencers, including many for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And the Sun did an investigation kind of looking at which influencers disclosed their partnerships and which didn't. And it found that 2/3 of the partners that work with the LVCVA did not disclose the ads that they were putting out on social media. Many of them went back later and added in the hashtags and the disclosures. This is a real problem in Vegas. It's a real problem in the world. And one that, just a reminder, we disclose everything. And that's one reason to support us.
It's tough too, because a lot of these people probably don't know what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it. You would think this would be in the contract from the LVCVA, and it would say, hey, you need to put these hashtags or we won't pay you. Like that's kind of on them too, that they should be enforcing this. And if people are going back and doing it later, that's kind of crappy. I could see them doing it on their first video and thinking that covers the other videos, but you should be doing it on every video that is a part of the paid sponsorship. But yeah, we see it too. Even we did the Sahara video. We disclosed that they offered us stuff. We didn't take it. We did get a gift of a carpet and a hoodie as a thank you for spending the time there. And we just shared the knowledge that we learned. And we still got people saying we were paid for it, and we disclosed all of that up front. So there's no winning sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very honest over the years about everything I do, and sometimes we work with brands, sometimes we don't. It's just a matter of disclosure. But I think that this highlights the biggest marketing agency for Las Vegas. I mean, this is Las Vegas itself is having problems with the influencer and disclosures. And we talk about it a lot with smaller influencers, but these are big things. And we've done contracts where they require it of us and they follow up on us. This is something that can be done from the brand's perspective, and it's better for Las Vegas. I saw a lot of those videos. None of them were marked when I saw them. I knew that they were official partners. Some of them were even shared on the official channels.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. It's like, do you think people aren't going to realize this? We see this a lot. It's probably the worst in the food influencer portion, where they don't disclose when they're getting free food or that they're paid for their things. Most people get it. If you disclose it, they're like, okay, cool. Hey, I still got a really unique view of this race that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. So I'm okay with that. And there's ads everywhere. It's just a part of business. There'll always be a little bit of pushback, but I think you get more blowback by not doing it than you do by doing it.
That's the thing that's always blown my mind. It's not a big deal to disclose. People understand it. It's a matter of the business. It's what you have to do. Just be honest with your audience. And like you said, it's not a huge deal. Let us know in the comments. But this was interesting to see the Sun do a whole investigation. I'm surprised that they actually investigated this into the LVCVA.
Who knew that there were still investigative journalists out there?
I'm sure there's tons. There's a lot of good journalists in Las Vegas, so I don't want to step on their toes. But let's cleanse our palate and close with this. The MGM Sphere is coming to the DC area. You predicted it, Mark. No, the mini sphere. We're finally going to get a mini sphere over in Maryland at the DC National Harbor. But it's basically in the parking lot of MGM National Harbor. So I think you're right, Mark. I think your prediction came true.
MGM Sphere. That's awesome.
So this is going to have 6,000 seats. And what's interesting about it is it's $200 million in state, local, and private incentives, meaning government funded sphere.
Yeah, that's, I mean, they're billionaires. They're making money. They don't need our money to help them build this thing. So it's always sad to see when that happens. And it usually doesn't end up helping the city in a meaningful way, more so than the money, even though they always say, oh, it should drive this much revenue, these many jobs. It never works out when they come back and look at it later. So I would rather see them just build it without that. It's a proven concept now. On the East Coast, you're going to have a ton of people that are going to be interested in going there. I don't think they'll have a problem selling tickets. I do think it takes away a little bit of the novelty from the Las Vegas location, even though that's bigger. So that's kind of sad to see, but I think people will still go to each, and then maybe they'll have residencies. If you see something is successful in Las Vegas, they'll go there next. So that's kind of cool that they'll get more use out of creating all of this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for the Sphere here to have more of these. And I think the scale, about 1/3 the seats could be a good thing actually for immersion when you're thinking about all the screens and everything going on. They did mention that they're going to have a 16K by 16K interior display pane Now, I don't know if that's going to be the main. I think that's going to be a flat display, but it says it's the highest resolution LED screen in the world. That'll be inside of it. It'll have the exosphere, and this is a really beautiful area down by the Potomac.
Yeah, that casino is really beautiful. We walked through that together. A great property on the East Coast. So I think this will be a good addition. Entertainment purposes, people go there, go to the casino before or after the show. It's going to work really well.
Isn't that the casino where the waitress hated you?
No, she loved me. You just think you don't get sarcasm.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. Sharps and whales and the sports betting, the new sphere coming to Maryland, the birthdays of Rio and Golden Gate, that green carpet at Caesar's Presidential Villa. Leave a comment. We do 3 shows a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody.